This generation believes that it is belong, believe, and become. But traditionally, it is supposed to be believe, become, and belong. My name is Ozi, and welcome to the first ever podcast titled The Undiluted Reflection. And with me today is
Chineze, and we have our very special guest.
Lillian Ezebrinhe, so glad to be here.
I'm Chinedu Jason Oba. Happy to be here.
Chinedu Obo is my name. I'm good to be here.
Okay, welcome you all to our very, very first podcast, actually. It's wonderful to have you guys as my first guest, or our first guest. Okay, so actually, this podcast, we're here to talk about so many controversial issues, of course. These days, we have so many youths having so many ideas from different places. And that is why we have this podcast here, to bring those ideas to the table.
Let us table the
discuss them,
matter.
you know, and do some certain things. And today we have a very, 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 very special topic. It's a very interesting topic also. And I'm going to announce this topic using this statement: God hates divorce. I'm very sure you guys can actually relate with this topic, divorce. In the country, or yes, let me use the country actually. I think there's a high rate of divorce, and they said it's due to lack of commitment or infidelity. But the truth is that so many people have so many other reasons why they divorce their partners. It might not be really lack of commitment or infidelity. So I have a question. What do you think is the major cause of divorce, especially in the church?
To put it in the right perspective, we should trace marriage to its origin. God instituted marriage for certain reasons. And from my own experience and orientation, God instituted marriage for three basic reasons. Number one is a reflection. One of the reasons God instituted marriage is to reflect the church and Christ, the relationship between church and Christ. That is what is expected of a man and a woman. Second reason is for intimacy between the two. And the third reason is to populate the world.
Oh,
these are the three reasons God instituted marriage. And it is the intention of God, the plan and design of God, that marriage should be a lifelong contract.
yeah.
A lifelong contract. But in between the lines, before sin set in, remember that marriage was instituted before sin came in.
Yeah.
So sin came in and adulterated, corrupted the plan and design of God. And that was the challenge we have that culminated into divorce. And to this day, it has gone higher. That is now more like a pandemic in our society.
All right.
So there are different reasons that could be attributed to the cause of divorce in our society.
Okay.
And one of the major reasons we could attribute to it is one, adultery, infidelity, abuse, violence, unforgiveness,
Financial misunderstanding.
finance, lack of communication, and so many others.
Okay.
So these are the reasons I think divorce is now becoming a pandemic in our society today.
Okay. Is there any other thing someone has to say concerning the cause of divorce?
No, I believe he has highlighted most of the things that necessitate divorce in our society. But I want to come from an angle where you say finance and these whole things. It's sounding more like a church meeting. Now, when you talk of divorce, first and foremost, I believe the reasons for divorce is a duplicitous character or perception. I want to get married to you, and I'm packaging myself to look good.
What you're not.
Yeah, I'm packaging myself to cut across as a soji guy or soji babe.
Yeah.
And when eventually we're done with the fanfare of wedding, come to reality and you see, okay, what you're seeing is what you have. At that point, you find out that, from the very first day or from the wedding night, the babe, the reason say, I'm more sure I'll never enter. You get, so a lot of these things, if you want to start counting adultery, what will make the person they do adultery?
So at what point should one, that's if someone wants to consider divorce? Because there's this story I heard that was yesterday. This lady on TVC.
Okay.
She came out and talked about a couple. The lady, she's from, her parents are, I don't know,
I think GOs or general overseers.
pastors
I think.
or general overseer in the church, and she was courting someone. Of course, they didn't have carnal knowledge of each other and all.
Okay.
Then on the wedding night, when they were about to get it done, she found out that he didn't have a
Get
penis.
what done?
Get the deed done. When they are about to have sex now. When they are about to have sex, they realized that, she realized that the man didn't have a penis.
Interesting.
Wow.
Like, at this point, what would she do? Because this marriage is based on deceit.
It is based on deceit.
So should she divorce the man, or should, I don't even know. I don't even know what to say, because where does she want to start from? She has kept herself from beginning till time and all of that. Then it's now time to do the do. The instrument for the do is unavailable.
Personally, I believe, yes, there was deception leading up to that marriage on the part of the man.
Yes.
But I believe there was foolishness on the part of the lady.
Foolishness.
Yes.
How is that? In what
On the
sense?
part of the lady. Like, you cannot tell me, I may sound controversial. You cannot tell me that you dated a guy for a minimum 6 months. Minimum 6 months. Maximum can be 10 years.
Okay.
And you cannot tell that he does not have.
Maybe they
How are we supposed to know
the
that?
Bible and all of
You
that.
understand? 6 months.
How are we supposed to tell that?
At least if not there, you go one piece now.
So we go there when the guy dey peace.
But how does he even pee? I was even wondering how he.
You understand?
Can I say something?
Okay, you can go.
Okay, first of all, I'm a lawyer, so I'm going to answer your question from a legal point of view.
Okay.
That marriage is void ab initio because it's based on a faulty foundation.
Okay.
Like there is a false identity. There's false identity. So it's even it's void. When something is void ab initio, that means there was no marriage in the first place. And when you are talking about at what point can somebody seek for divorce, under the legislation that deals with divorce, that is matters incidental to marriage, is the Matrimonial Causes Act 2004. It's applicable in Nigeria. And for you to be able to seek for a divorce, it depends, to seek for divorce, you must have been married under the statutory acts.
Okay.
That is, you celebrate your marriage at the marriage registry.
Okay.
Yes. And the court that has the jurisdiction when it comes to divorce is the High Court. You know, there are different types of marriages. We have the customary marriage, and then we have marriage under the Act. That is where you go to the registry where it is being celebrated by the registry of the court. So, you know, you're married to somebody, you cannot just wake up. Yes, it happens. We are humans. You wake up tomorrow and then you see, this person does not appeal to me any longer. I don't love him. The butterflies in my tummy. When I got married to this guy, he had flat tummy and but now his tummy is bulgy and all of that. So the law provides grounds upon which you can approach the court and seek for marriage. But the ground for seeking for divorce, dissolution of marriage, is that the marriage has broken down irretrievably. In simple terms, that means the marriage cannot be redeemed any longer. There is nothing to hold you guys together any longer. And one of the grounds is when you are unable to consummate the marriage.
Okay.
So, but when we are talking about consummation, it means that you even have the right organ, you have the organ to function, but you have refused
Sorry,
to function.
I'm in church. If you give a head, no be consummation.
It's not consummation. It's not
But
consummation.
it's still sex, just like it's oral.
Oral sex. When we're talking about
So
consummation,
consummation,
when we're
something
talking
must
about there
enter
must be a
somewhere.
penetration
Voila.
of the penis into the vagina.
Okay.
That's consummation.
That is consummation.
Coitus, consummation.
Yes. Oral sex is not consummation. Fondling of the boobs is not consummation. These are foreplays.
Okay.
They are not consummation.
Of course, we know that when people get married, they say for better or worse. They take that vow in church for God. Then God anoints the marriage. And then God hates divorce. He said that no man should divorce his wife or no woman should divorce her husband except on the basis of infidelity. But even in that infidelity, so if you don't want to,
It was out of the hardness of their hearts.
yes, the wickedness of the heart, exactly. So, but now in the church, you still find a lot of people, you know, just.
I can't deal. He's pressing to space from the
But
middle.
that is not the will of God.
That's not the will of God.
He hates divorce.
So do you feel as your phone app has updates, the will cannot be updated?
Wow.
So the word of God should be updated.
I'm not saying
But
the word of God, not say word, I said the
forever.
will.
Yes,
The
and
will
ever.
of God for you should reflect his best for you part time. This is my opinion.
Part time.
Yeah, part time. Because God is not an outdated God. If the will of God for you is happiness in marriage, happiness as a person, I believe whatever needs to be done under his will to give you that happiness is approved.
Really, including.
Yeah, how do I mean?
Okay.
Marriage is, like my brother said, a lifelong contract according to God's initial design. Now, that lifelong contract ought to serve a purpose. That lifelong contract is not meant to be a holding cell for two unhappy people. You understand?
Okay.
Now, if you, for any reason, lose happiness in a marriage, if you for any reason get disenchanted with what you're seeing in the marriage, maybe on the grounds of adultery, on the grounds of violence, on the grounds of paternity fraud, as it is the
Yes.
problem here.
Yes, that's.
I believe as a person, you reserve the right to seek for dissolution, and it will be in line with God's will. Because it is not the will of God for you to remain in a bitter marriage and you beat the woman to death and go to jail.
But then.
Okay. To add to his contribution, I would say, like I said at initial in my introduction, I will still come under the orientation of the church concerning marriage. God hates divorce, as recorded in Malachi chapter 2, verse 16.
Yeah.
God hates divorce. It's not the will of God that two married people will separate.
Yeah.
Because according to description of the Bible, the marriage description of the Bible said that two people will come together to become one, and they
Yeah.
will become one flesh.
Yes.
So in the eye of God and the church, you guys are one flesh.
Yes.
Separating it is like dividing yourself. That's why that quotation concludes by saying, what God has joined together,
Let no man put asunder.
But see where we have challenge with the society today. I told you, Abinishio, that marriage was instituted before sin set in.
Yeah.
Now, with the disobedience of man to the design and original plan of God for us, there were a lot of adulteration, and that adulteration is part of it is the challenges and the grounds or the reasons why somebody might seek for divorce. Now, when two people are married, it is expected that they should stay together till death do them part. But now, the Bible gave grounds for people to see. God hates divorce. It's not necessary, but it is permitted. I will use that word. Divorce is not necessary, but it is permitted on 2 grounds. One of the grounds I have said is adultery.
Yeah.
That was explicit said by Jesus. The second ground is desertion by an unbelieving partner.
Okay.
According to Paul's expansion in 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 15, where you are married, one person is married to, a believer is married to an unbeliever, and that unbeliever maybe, for whatever reason, decide to decide to leave. The believing partner that was deserted now is free to remarry.
Why first marry unbeliever?
Bible gave the allowance for us to marry unbeliever.
Okay.
Believing that you as a believer marrying an unbeliever will create a ground of converting the unbeliever. So that ground is there. So, but when you such a situation happen and there's an issue, maybe the unbeliever leaves, you are not tied. Paul said you are not under any bond of that marriage again because he has left. These are the grounds that the Bible supported that we should separate. But if you are reading the book of Exodus 21, there were reasons why people were permitted in the law of Moses. Moses said, if for any reason you want to divorce your wife, the condition Moses gave is that you should give your wife a divorce certificate. Once you give your wife divorce certificate, and one of the things they said there, if you're reading that Deuteronomy, one of the things they said there is that if you get married and maybe you don't like the woman again, you can leave you can divorce the woman. You marry somebody, maybe you want to marry another one. That was why Jesus said that Moses allowed you to divorce because of your wicked heart.
Yes.
Are you getting the point now? And that was why Jesus streamlined it, that unless on the basis of adultery. Because what is happening in our society today is that somebody will wake up and say, this man had a flat tummy when I married him. Now he has protruded tummy. I'm not marrying again, and he will divorce. This person will say, used to be figure 8, figure 6, or figure 9 when I married you. Now you are fat.
Figure 20.
I don't want to.
I even heard of a story that someone married someone, and after like 2 days, he said he's not marrying again, that she's too short.
Wahala.
He did that for 6 good years.
For 6 years, he don't notice that she was short.
He did not notice she was short, but in that he was always telling the girl, you're too short, you're too short. The girl foolishly was begging him, yeah, no, that kind of thing. Then after like 2 days,
No be say he's short.
Okay, so now
No be say he's short.
the issue is
Maybe she came short somewhere.
on
You understand?
that on these 2 major grounds, we are biblically allowed to divorce.
Where violence
But
enter.
now, but now, that was why I said, and I emphasize, that marriage was instituted before man disobeyed God.
Yeah.
And that disobedience of man is now what is bringing up a lot of issues, serious issues.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about frivolities we talk about. Maybe the man had money when I met him, now he doesn't have money again.
Yeah.
Or the woman used to be beautiful, now she's no longer beautiful. Or maybe you have seen somebody else that we have had. Somebody was talking about somebody that married another wife 3 months after maybe divorcing or separating from the wife, meaning that there was a relationship going on.
Yeah.
Even
It might not be
married.
so. It might not be so. Yeah, it might not be so. It's a probability. You cannot say that because the person married 3 months after. Yes, morally you might look at it that it's not right based on emotions,
You
but
were cheating before
you
you
can't
have
say
years.
so. People meet people. And in
just
less
marry
than
them.
1
3
week,
months.
and in less than 1 week
Please.
they get married, and
1
everybody,
week.
and some
Yes,
people,
yes,
and
there are
some
people
people, yes, people meet people,
Why?
and some people move on
Desperation.
easily.
now,
Yes,
this is another
It has
challenge.
to be desperation because how can I marry
People
someone?
easily.
We have in this society
There are men that do
that influences divorce. You see people get married without understanding themselves.
Really,
Yes.
but there are some
Yeah.
people who
No. There's some. It works
Yeah,
for
man.
some people.
Yeah.
But psychologically, it is expected that you should cut
Please,
And in the
6
process
months.
of courtship, you
Okay.
understand yourself, because marriage, regardless of whatever foundation is built on, must be established on the ground of compatibility. If
Bros,
there is no compatibility from day one, that means the marriage is heading for a serious challenge. So without that compatibility, it will be difficult for you to continue. Love might fade away. Whatever that attracted you might fade away.
Yeah.
But if there is that see, I've seen people that married to people that are dirty,
Yeah.
people that are loud, people that are too quiet, people that are sociable, people that, you know, a lot of characters. They are married to them along the line. Say, I'm not doing again. I didn't see this part of you when we got married. But if you actually courted, you will see all these things.
Sorry.
Regardless
Okay.
of the pretentious and dangerous nature of man being.
That is my stance.
Why Bible said that the heart
You
of man
pretend.
is desperately wicked.
Yeah.
There is pretension whereby people will hide their negative side. Even if you like date for 20 years, you will not
you won't
that
see
part.
everything.
That's
You
true.
will not
That's
see that part. But once the
get married.
marriage is consummated,
Kicks off.
you start seeing, and that also applies to most of our ladies, our young ladies today. You see, I've seen people that after the wedding, the lady removed her dress, wash off the
Hallelujah.
the man will now be, this is not the woman. I have not seen this face before. And I have seen an advanced lady with wrinkled face, but with makeup. You will think that she's sweet 16. But immediately she wash off that cosmetic, you see the real
How
her,
old she is.
and it's a challenge. The man will say, no, this was not the woman I married.
So is divorce permitted on that ground?
no.
Yes, now.
Now, creating the challenge the church is having, which some liberal churches have advanced, is that beyond adultery and dissertation, there are other grounds that we can actually consider divorce, which is one, abuse.
Yes.
It is not the will of God that you
Yes.
will die in your marriage.
Definitely.
Like this.
This were the
That's the update of the will.
this were
Yes.
the this
Okay,
were-
that's an
You
update.
understand?
these were the considerations now, which are real to us. Yes, Bible was silent about divorce, about abuse,
Yes.
about addiction,
Yes.
about most of the things we are
Deception.
seeing. The deception. Bible is silent about these ideas. But today we are seeing it. They are real. You see, somebody made reference of Osinachi.
Yes.
Just because she's a Christian and
Yes.
she was concerned about
What people will
say.
because of her background and her orientation, and she died in the marriage. It's not the will of God that you will die in the marriage.
Anytime I remember
What
it.
we should do as Christians is that before we could explore divorce, the option of divorce should actually be the last option.
Last
It
option.
should actually be the last option when we
Okay.
have issue of abuse, of domestic violence,
Okay.
of deception.
Okay.
There is ground for counseling.
Right.
There is ground for
Separation.
For
There should be separation.
They
Yes,
should
for a
and stay
while.
a while. Okay, so I said counseling. I said
Separation.
and there is a effort at restoring the love in the marriage. There's also ground for prayers. There's also ground for prayers.
Yeah.
It is possible that God can change any human being. It is possible. So
Yes.
we need to, the problem with most of our churches that today, they will tell you God hates divorce.
divorce.
And they do nothing
Yeah.
About it, they just end
you
it at that.
you
And they
see-
suffer in
you see
marriage.
somebody dying in marriage. The church
That's
is not
true.
interested in anything. They are not willing to go the extra mile. No,
That's
but
true.
the church should actually set up a very strong and formidable marriage counseling a team
Yeah.
that should be able to handle issues that are coming out of it. It's not only for people to go for marriage seminar and you wed them. No,
Yeah.
it does not end there. It should go beyond that. Apart from the marriage seminar, they are now wedded. Issues will come out of marriage. They need to be to be attended to.
That's
They need
true.
to be counseled. They need to be spoken to. There is need for therapy.
Bros, see,
We have marriage therapies that you know that carry people along, put them through, give them some enlightenment about most of the challenges have been resolved with all these
Mechanisms put in place.
all these things I've highlighted now. There has been restoration from all of them, but then there are also a lot of marriages that this thing did not actually work.
Exactly.
And at that point, I cannot encourage anybody that is in abusive
stay
marriage
to
still remain there.
No, I cannot encourage anybody that is living with a partner that is addictive to drug to continue. I cannot encourage anybody that is facing deceit and mistrust in relationship to go. It's a challenge.
so see, I believe this whole discussion centers on Christian marriage and divorce. Now, first and foremost, I'm a firm believer in avoid what is avoidable. Yeah, I'm a very firm believer in that. Avoid what is avoidable. Where divorce rather can be avoided. It's not best to avoid it. How do I mean? You see someone, a girl, she dates a chain smoker, and she believes he will change.
Really?
He will change. in
When he gets
marriage.
married, and he
Eh,
becomes
don't
responsible
worry.
overnight.
You see somebody
Magic.
who is dating a very temperamental and violent person, and he believes when he's angry, I am the only one that can calm him down.
Look at me.
Or some of them even go as far as saying that when you got the king,
You
you go
understand?
calm down.
You understand? Now, you see, you see these kind of things, and that girl is seeing danger, but she's putting her head there. Or you see a guy who is dating a girl that is hardly satisfied financially or anyhow, or a girl that begs. It is trivial. But you see that girl that begs any small bros, urgent 2K, urgent 2K. You keep that one in the house, she will urgent 2K herself out of the house. You understand? You see these things that are red flags, you get married, and you come back and say, divorce.
Birthday wish list.
Birthday wish list, you put account number, you say no marry. All those kind of things, these things are avoidable. You see, I was sitting out with some friends the other day, and we were discussing. Sorry, I'm going to sound this way. For people that are not Christians, they will say, and I agree, there are babes that are marriage materials, and there are babes that you just meet along the way as they go. I don't know if you get what I mean. You understand?
Chop and clean mouth.
Yeah.
They go. Now, you cannot see a girl that is hookup material and marry her and expect that you will not divorce. No, because why I'm saying this is because a lot of times we put ourselves in a situation where we now say, okay, it is not God that wants me to divorce, but I found myself in it is you that
yourself.
foolishly put yourself
inside
in
that
that
situation.
position. If first of all, we find a situation whereby people are true to themselves. Why I'm bringing this whole thing is because you mentioned something about the rate of divorce going high. It is because we have found a situation where people are untrue to themselves.
Most people marry who is available.
You
Not
understand?
really do they love.
A lot of things that even add to this divorce, my brother, is our socio-cultural position, our financial situation in this country. How do I mean? You might see somebody that has love of their life in the university. Love of your life, do service. You they do service. Love of your life, finish. You no get work. You go marry Emeka Taiwan. Emeka Taiwan carry beer, belle. You know sabi do. Meanwhile, love of your life was giving you well. You understand? That person initially, from the very get-go, is not satisfied. Or maybe that person is marrying because she wants to leave the family out of poverty. That person is not satisfied. And divorce is inevitable.
You know, the challenge with what you said now is that this generation of young people, they don't understand the depth of marriage.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
itself.
That is the major challenge. That is the major challenge we have today.
Yeah.
The generation of young people nowadays. I think in 2021, it was reported that January 2021 that there were 4,000 divorce applications in FCT marriage registry.
4,000.
When I go do my
4,000.
own, you then tell me say it
January.
pass.
Wow.
January
So this is
alone.
now married.
Now people are now wondering why this
Why
rate
so?
of divorce.
Yeah.
But see, if you look around us, the only pointer to it, the major pointer, not the only, the major pointer is that young people don't understand. They don't understand what marriage is about.
Yeah.
They just believe that marriage is one of those lifestyle. That's
It's like
why
dating,
they believe
like
that
relationship.
Or it's like
you
it's
go
fixed,
in,
so you just
you go
get
out.
it.
But it's not like that. Now you don't marry because of current satisfaction.
Okay.
That was why I talked about compatibility.
Yeah.
Before marriage, there are parameters that must be met.
Yes.
There are parameters that must be checked, and once there is any red flag, you must indeed discontinue as a matter of urgency. If indeed you understand, it's just like somebody that is going for operation. If you're going for operation, before any qualified doctor will operate you, they must explain to you, these are the consequences of what you are going through. I'm sorry to bring this in. This young man that implicated Senator
Ekweremadu.
Ekweremadu,
Yeah.
one of the reasons they gave was that the young man was not told the implication of what he was coming to
doing.
do.
Yes.
He was just told that he was coming to donate kidney.
Yeah.
He did not know that there
might die.
is an after maintenance,
Yeah.
Okay.
and that there is high cost, that there is need for finance to take through the process,
Yes.
aftercare. He was not told. But no, those people they're not like us.
Yes.
Before you go through serious processes like that, they will sit you down,
And explain
counsel
it
you,
to you.
tell you what you're going through, and they will ask you, are you willing to continue? That is what we must do in our marriage system. People must understand that marriage is a serious institution. It's a serious institution. It's not a short-term life. It's not a test and go thing. No, it's a serious matter. That's why you see somebody will feel like they will just if I don't like him, if I test and I will. It's not like that. It does not work like
that's
that.
period.
There's this one I listened to, Pastor Mildred Okonkwo. There's this scenario she always gives. She said, if you're in a room and all the windows are locked and
Okay.
there is fire burning in the room, what are you going to do? Because the windows are locked. Won't you try to put out that fire?
Go check the door first.
No. For me,
Won't you try to put out that fire?
for me, all the windows are locked.
Yes.
What will I do? I will break the window. What if the fire is so
Won't you try
enormous?
to put out the fire?
I know with fire comes heat.
The first thing that will come to mind is even look for a fire extinguisher. To know if you can quench the fire.
The first thing about life is self-preservation. I'm in this hall and there is fire. The first thing that comes to my mind is, how do I get out of this place?
Yeah.
I do not care about the chairs. This is my phone. I will not care about this phone. At that point, I do not care. What
The most important thing is
concerns
your
me
life.
is my
How to
life.
save
Because my life
So
cannot
if
be
you-
replaced.
I
Yeah.
believe
If you
we
get
are
married
missing
now,
something. We are missing something.
I don't think
Let's
this-
wait.
Not
Let's- I
fire
believe-
does
No,
not have
you
to
can't
do-
use this to relate.
we are missing something.
You cannot use this to relate to
You know why I say we are missing
marriage.
something?
It doesn't align.
What
Wait
are
till
we
start the
missing?
fire.
What? I don't
Okay.
care. At that point, there's a fire.
Natural
Wait,
causes.
first and foremost, waiting start the fire.
If it be
Two, two.
something spark.
How did you stay
Get
in
into
that
the-
place and the fire became uncontrollable?
Exactly.
That's
When
true.
would
That's
have
a good
gone
question.
out?
When we have gone
Allow the
When would
fire
I-
to
That's
go
a
out.
good question. Yeah.
How did you stay in a place that fire will not just boom.
Yeah, that's a
start.
good question.
Fire will start small.
Yes, and
How did you
with
stay
fire,
Now,
it's
what
something
she's
you
saying
can
is when
always
it grew.
the point, what she's trying to
You
say,
try to
what
put
she's
it
trying
off
to
first,
say is
even if
not
it's
even that
growing.
the fire has, what caused the fire? The fire has started. You are seeing fire.
You're seeing
It
fire.
has not grown. What
No,
you try to,
well,
okay,
well,
let's
I must leave that point.
Let me give
For
another
me,
example. Let me give
okay.
another example.
Because for me, I do not-
now,
I do not
okay, let me give
subscribe to
another
this
example. Let me
example.
give another example.
Yeah, okay.
You're cooking now.
Okay.
Yeah, mistake. You want to carry with, you want to use a cloth.
Okay.
To
To
carry
carry
out
the pot.
pot.
Okay.
And fire catches on the
On the cloth.
cloth.
Yeah.
What will you do? You leave it and run away.
It depends.
Depends on the
You will
level
leave
of
the
fire.
cloth and
If you
run
run
away.
away, that is the what you
Fit
do.
away
You
the
shout.
pot, sir.
Exactly.
You try to put it off.
All you do is
How
to
try
shout.
to put off the fire.
Is to shout.
To
And
shout and run away.
It
See,
depends.
these things are unique. These are unique to
exactly.
people.
You cannot use
Responses,
Yeah.
one size
reflexes
for- exactly.
are unique to
Exactly.
different
Now,
persons.
you
Well,
know,
if it's me
what-
and it's just the cloth, I'll try to put the cloth in the sink and put on water.
No,
to
no,
so
no.
Exactly, but
quench
not
the
like
fire.
in a
You may
To
have
quench the
that level
fire.
of composure. Ozema may not have that level of composure.
You know, there are people, let me just put this, just to just oppose what you said. We are different individuals. We have different frames. Now, there are people that will see snake inside the room. They will kill the snake.
Yeah.
There are people that will see cockroach. They will break the window and run away.
Yes, like me. I do
Are you
that a
getting- are you
lot.
getting it? So we have different frames. We are different individuals with different temperaments and psychological balance.
Okay.
So so putting out fire is possible ordinarily, like you explained. If fire caught the clothes, you are using to put down the pot. Ordinarily, what every
person.
person is expected to do is to try to put off the fire on the clothes. Do you understand?
Yes.
But there are some people that will throw away both the pot
And the clothes.
The
and
clothes
and the clothes.
and run out of the kitchen.
And
That's the same thing applies to
all these
marriage.
things now
people
that's
try
why
to
I
solve
said
the problem,
it
some
depends
run
on
away.
it depends on the person's psychological balance. Now, bringing it to marriage, because I know you are trying to relate it to what we are
Yes.
discussing now. Now, bring it to marriage. There are some issues that can actually come out of marriage and be contained.
Yeah.
There's some issues that can be contained. There's some issues, and I think I mentioned in my introduction that one of the challenges, one of the causes of divorce is lack of communication.
Okay.
There are some challenges in marriage that proper communication can solve.
Simple.
There's some problems
out.
in marriage that proper communication between the partners, proper communication between the partners will solve. So if there is proper communication, this aspect of the challenge will be solved.
Yeah.
My brother said, "Where were you when the fire started?
Because you know, just
Where were you when it
only
started?"
explosion.
The
na
fire
fire.
dey small. I'm not talking about explosion.
I now
It's a start.
also connect it to what he asked before that about people people seeing red flags. I want to encourage young people. There is nothing like I'm the only person that can change this person.
Only me. If I talk
There's
to
not-
him, he will
there's-
just
there's
calm.
nothing like when we get married or when we have children, he will calm down.
Yeah.
Somebody you cannot control when you are cutting. You cannot control it. Maybe he's an alcoholic,
Yeah.
you know he cannot deal with it.
Yeah.
He's a chain smoker, you know he cannot deal with it. He's a womanizer, chronic womanizer, you know he cannot deal with it. But you believe that when you
He will
What
change.
about in a case where some people from the other faith, they got married when they were still in that faith, and one of them all of a sudden just changes faith and becomes a Christian. And in that marriage, the person's partner maybe is a chain smoker, a womanizer, and does all these things, even beats that person. But because the person was in that previous faith, maybe they didn't leave and they told the person to remain in that marriage. But when the person came into Christianity, it's like there was this light that just shine on that person. What is that person expected to do? Should they just go, or should they wait and pray for their partner too to convert?
okay,
'Cause in this case now-
okay, you mean both of them?
We are not
They
Christians.
They were
were
not
not
Christians
Christians.
before?
Yes,
Then one of
before.
them
They were not Christians
converted.
before.
Yes.
And along
One
the line,
converted, yes.
one now received Jesus.
Yes.
And had a change.
Yes.
And there is now a difference between him, between
And the partner.
between
Yeah.
two. See, from beginning, you guys were compatible, right?
Yes.
But because of a
change in religion.
change in
Change.
religion,
Is no
Yes.
longer there.
you now no. is not a ground for you to divorce.
It's not.
Okay.
It's not a ground for you to divorce. If you liked him from day one, your religion does not mandate you. That was why I mentioned about Paul's interpretation of another grounds of divorce,
Yeah.
which is desertion. No, there is ground for you to marry an unbeliever.
Okay.
Whatever you can contain in the life of that unbeliever, you are allowed to contain. What you cannot, maybe he doesn't follow you to church, he doesn't pray with you, he doesn't fast with you, you are giving family fasting, he doesn't fast. He's not supposed to worry you. It's not supposed to be a
but
ground
what
for you
if
to
there are
divorce.
some things that he was doing
Yeah.
then that you didn't see
like-
as wrong?
Like,
As wrong.
I don't know, maybe
It is left for you. I think it's a personal decision.
Okay.
Because you can tolerate people. You can tolerate people. The fact that you've become a Christian does not mean that you should divorce the person. What you look at first of all is, can I tolerate this act? Can I tolerate this attitude?
Yeah.
If you cannot, and you can seek for divorce.
I believe
The fact that you became a Christian is not enough for you to say, okay, I'm no longer interested in this
I
marriage.
believe in this
It's a
context,
personal decision.
wisdom should direct.
Okay.
You married somebody, a pagan, for instance. You were a pagan. You were both pagans, and you married that person. And suddenly along the line, you found Christ and you changed. Wisdom should direct you. Maybe as a pagan wife, you enjoyed the drinking festival.
Yeah.
As a pagan wife, you enjoyed the maybe
all the pagan
all the
activities.
pagan activities. You understand? You should be wise enough to understand that you took time to get to where you are,
Okay.
and something cost you to get to where you are. You should be wise enough to give your partner, time.
The time also.
You understand? You should give that partner the time to know that, okay, this person is still where I used to be. One thing is time. Second thing is to know that that person is your primary responsibility. You will evangelize to that person with your lifestyle
Yeah.
to make them see that, okay, this change
It's
is
real.
attractive.
It's
I
real.
like
It's
this kind of
genuine.
change. Let me identify with this. You understand? So if you change religion with the mindset of this one old husband, make I change to new husband.
What if that
You
person
are-
then puts down rules that would make you not serve God?
That is where wisdom comes.
No.
For you to have, in my opinion, you
Serving
married,
God,
you
excuse
married
me.
a pagan,
Like,
and you
okay,
say,
when you mean serving God, what do
Going
you
to
mean?
church?
Is it going to
Going to
church?
church.
You know
Yes,
that
like
God
going to church.
is everywhere. God is everywhere.
Yes.
Like, and you know, we have mobile phones. We have phones. The internet is there. You don't need to go to church to serve
let's not
God.
use
So
going
I
to
think
church
it's
to
high.
serve
It's
God.
impossible
Let's say
somebody to
this
stop
man
you
is
from
a
serving
traditional
God.
worshiper
He doesn't
now,
want you
and
to pray
there's
in
this
the house.
thing he used to do every month to his gods, and he says you must be involved in that thing and you must do it. You must follow him and do it as his wife. But you now, as a Christian, you see it as wrong, and you see that it's sinning against God.
what would wisdom require you to
Required
do?
to do.
Now.
What would you now do in that
Okay,
case?
now.
Because if you say you have changed, you have followed Christ,
Yeah.
who tells you in his word to follow peace with all men. You married a husband who even the Bible tells you is the head of the home. You understand? And you said, so, Bible says submit to your husband. Now, Bible did not specify whether he's a drunk husband or a pagan
Traditional
husband.
husband.
It says submit to your husband.
You made the
now,
choice.
you are the person that God has given wisdom. The Spirit of God is in you to direct you. If your husband says, New Year Festival, every October, you must come outside. We must tie red cloth on our waist and we must beat our ogene to this carved wood to show that we are grateful for the New Year. It is now in your place to follow your husband gently to the point where you win him over. There are women that have converted occultic kings. True.
I do not subscribe to this. Your
See,
You don't have to subscribe
I
to
do
it.
not.
I-
I
like
do
that.
not.
You don't have to.
I do not.
See,
I do not.
I agree with you to some extent.
Okay.
I have seen couple that were in the same the same situation as we are explaining now.
Okay.
One is a Christian, one is not.
Traditionalist.
One is a traditionalist.
Yeah.
I have seen situations whereby the man will tell the woman, you cannot go to church in this house.
Wow.
And the woman has agreed from the counsel she got, maybe from church or from many places. She agreed not to go to church. She only goes to church when the man is not around. Well, also,
Is that submission?
No, again.
Is that
no,
submission?
I've also no.
The question
see,
should be raised.
the
Is
It's the
that
wisdom.
submission?
the
It's
issue-
the wisdom.
the issue is just being wisdom. Bible says wisdom,
It's
is
wisdom.
profitable to
Direct.
direct.
Is that submission? No, that's my
No,
question.
no.
Is that submission?
Because she did not respect you.
Exactly. Is that submission?
What you are
Okay.
doing,
What is submission?
You are just respecting your husband. And the respect to your husband is actually submission. You respected him. He said you should not go
to church in this house.
In this house.
And then-
he's not around. You had the opportunity of going to church. You go to church, come back, you stay
But
on
is
your
that
own.
submission? The
Then
question
again,
has not been answered.
I've seen also where a man will tell the wife, you cannot attend any night program in this house. The woman agrees. She doesn't come for any night vigil. She doesn't come for any revival program. She doesn't do anything. Anytime that same program, I think Venerable made mention of something like that sometime. Anytime that program is going on,
Yeah.
the woman connects to the church from her house. Not electronically as we have now,
Yeah.
but she knows this program is supposed to start by 10 a.m., by 10 p.m.
Yeah.
10 p.m., she starts her own prayer, she prays, join the program as much as she can go.
Yeah.
So, where situation like this is evident, I think what we should do is to use wisdom. And again, be prayerful, then be patient. It might create problems.
Yes, yes.
There is bound to
There'll
be
be fractions.
Yes.
But then,
there is light at the end of the tunnel.
Really? Are you sure?
now, if the crisis gets to the level where it's intolerable,
Yes,
that's where
then
maybe
divorce.
with
can come in.
the advice and counsel of lawyers of the church, maybe you can seek for separation, and you take it from there.
Well, that's very interesting. She was asking a question about what you said.
So about submission.
You know, when it comes to marriages,
Yes.
I feel my opinion, my humble opinion is that the church should allow people to be true to themselves.
Okay.
The church should allow people to be true. When I mean being true to themselves, to be true to themselves in the sense that they should be able to say, I do not like this in the course of dating. They should be able to ask hard questions.
course of dating?
In the course of courtship, rather,
Courtship,
not
okay.
dating.
Courtship.
Courtship. You know, a lot of people date and they mistake and they take it for courtship, because in courtship there are things you look out for.
Yeah.
You ask questions.
Yes.
You might not even ask questions, but by what you say or by what the other party says, you should be able to filter what you need. Because I believe that, just like you said, people pretend a lot. But in the course of discussion, it does not have to be serious. You might just say something. The person will the reply the person will give you an idea.
That's true.
The red
That's
flags are
very
always
correct.
there. As a matter of fact, when
They are always there.
when you begin to asking questions is just to like maybe solidify what you've gotten.
Yeah.
Because most times when you ask people questions, they know the points you are going to.
You
Sorry,
don't
are we
ask
still
them
on this
direct
respect,
questions.
submission, something?
Yes, I want to talk about it.
I want
So-
okay.
so-
Let her land.
So the church should encourage people to be true to themselves. Like,
Okay.
this is what I want, and I'm going to go for it.
Okay.
It helps a lot to be able to take certain decisions, because I do not take it. For me, it is not submission where your husband tells you do not go to church, and you want to go to church.
Yeah.
And okay, you now respect him only when he's aware. Then when he's not aware and you go to church, is that submission? It is
Okay,
not.
let me ask you this
It's
question.
not
Let me
submission.
ask you this
If
question.
you
Okay.
want to submit, for
Yeah.
me, if you're
has to
talking
be-
about submit, it's hypocrisy. It's pretense.
Okay.
Exactly, it's pretense. Let me use that word, pretense.
Now,
Okay,
Is
let
it
me
that-
ask
is it
you this
that-
question.
For me, is it that you say yes, you don't go to church, but maybe pray about it,
Yeah.
because that's the only thing you can do.
Okay.
For that time, pray about it, but not that your husband is around, you don't go to church, then he steps out. If your husband finds out
Now.
that you went to church in his absence, is he going to be happy with you? Is that submission? It's
Now,
not.
let me add to that. You know, we talk about submission to your husband, to the point or to the level where your own existence is also guaranteed.
Exactly.
Do you understand? That Bible says you should submit to your husband does not mean that your husband asks you to go and put your head in the fire.
You put your head
in the fire. That your husband said okay, that you are asked to submit to your husband, and the husband said, okay, this our child has 2 hands. I want him to have 1 hand.
Cut it off.
Use that cutlass to cut it off. You will cut it off. No, it does not. So why I said what I said? Going to church is now your new church, or Christianity is now your newfound faith. But you are trying to manage a situation between your husband and your newfound faith.
Yeah,
You are managing the
that's
situation.
good.
Yeah.
So that was why, to avoid crisis in the marriage, you allow him, you respect him. Once he's not aware that you are going to church, no problem. That is what I believe. Once and again you talk about church allowing people to be true to themselves. I agree, but then it's relative. Why I say it's relative is that the church can only allow you to be true to yourself to the point it is indeed permissible with the tenets and the
Doctrines of the church, yeah.
and the Bible itself. So you cannot say because you want to be yourself, you go against the doctrine of the church or the word of God. It's not possible. So you can actually submit to your husband. That is why we say wisdom is profitable to direct.
So in line with this whole submission debates now, you're married
What's
to
real submission is?
you're married
real
to
submission is?
Okay, you're married to the pagan man. You converted to Christianity,
Yeah.
and by virtue of his paganism, it is required that every month he leaves a mark on the children
Yeah.
as part of rededication.
Ritual.
Wonderful.
As a woman that is a Christian, that is expected to submit, not respect, like he said, what will you do?
What would I do? Of course, I would not. I would not agree with that. No, people are talking about. You know why I came up with my own submission is that you people said with wisdom.
Yeah.
As for me, I know that I will not allow him do that. But people with wisdom, in quotes, will say, okay, he should draw mark. Then when he leaves, I will use something and clean the mark.
You can't clean it.
I'm just saying now. I'm
If it's an indelible mark.
I'm just saying.
It's indelible,
Do
so
you
you
get?
can't clean it.
Or maybe with wisdom we say, okay, I will allow him draw the mark. Then when he leaves, I will not start praying.
You put
in the name of
anointing
Jesus. There's no wisdom in it. So is either yes or no. But when you are saying your yes or no, it does not have to be a fight. It does not have to be a fight. That is why for me this submission thing should be relative. It depends on the circumstance.
That's why we say.
But the church. Why I have a problem with it is that most times the church makes it that it has to be. There is no condition attached to it.
But there is no condition attached to it according to
But
the
for
Bible.
me, looking at these circumstances, these scenarios, there should be conditions.
The Bible talks about submission.
That is for me.
Under the, let me use the word assumption that the couple are submitted to Christ. Because you submit to your husband.
No. It's not complete. Why I say it's not complete now? Bible said, wives, submit to your husbands.
Yes.
Husband,
Love
your wife. If there is no love, submission will be difficult.
No, I understand where he's coming
But
from.
there is no God does not mean you shouldn't
That is very
submit.
positive for Christians.
Bible said what it said
For Christians.
with the mindset that it is talking to Christians.
Yes.
That's true.
Yes,
That's
yes.
very
Understand?
correct.
Yes.
Yes.
Now, if Bible is saying submit to your husband, it's telling you about submitting to a man.
A man that has
is-
Christ.
He's under him.
That has Christ.
That
that's
Christ
true.
is his head.
Yeah.
Even if Christ is his head and he's a drunkard, you will still submit to him.
No, the Christ cannot be your head. And
When you're in
drunk.
Okay, now, yeah, now. You will still submit.
What I'm saying is this.
No, but actually, Christ cannot be your head. You know, Christ cannot be your head and you're a drunkard. It's not possible.
Exactly. It will show in your life.
No, but what I'm saying is this. What I'm saying is this. Now,
You can stray once in a while and come back.
Now, Neze said,
Human
Neze said,
weakness.
But at least you know when someone is.
Neze
watching
said
you.
there's no condition attached to. You know, this thing is divorce we're talking about. I don't want us
And
to
what leads
enter
to divorce?
submission. If you enter submission, that one is
Another topic
another
altogether.
It should not be a
Now
one
break more
See,
tables.
see, we have talked about divorce.
Yeah.
Divorce in itself is a consequence. You understand? Divorce in itself, if you behave well, your wife no divorce you. If you begin to do as a madman or madwoman, the consequence in the long run.
It depends. Oh.
Wait now, I'm saying something. Like my brother here said there are grounds. Now that grounds is, she said something about consummation. Now consummation and the lack of it has a consequence, which can be divorce or any other thing that you both agree to do. So divorce in itself is a consequence. Now I want us to, when talking about divorce, talk about the things, the actions, inactions, that will lead you to that consequence. Because it is where a lot of us as Christians get it wrong. Let me give you an instance. It is expected that in marriage, knacks is involved.
Is it, what do you mean by nasty?
Is it like sleeping
Sex is involved.
Boy alpha.
Yes,
Why you
sex
angry?
is involved. Plenty of sex should be involved.
Okay.
You understand? Now, in marriage, where you have a situation where they tell you that this body now, you give it to your husband, you give it to your wife. It is expected that when you touch your wife, she has to respond. You understand? Some people will tell you that for the wife to start fasting, that wife needs to fast in such a way that either you carry the man along that you are fasting, or where he's not carried along, if he still touches you, you
Respond.
You respond.
you understand? Now, you find Christian wives, very Christian wives who, clothes
Earring.
wives,
Yeah.
berets wearing women,
I don't
turtleneck
understand.
parading
People
women.
that are wearing
You understand?
good
Yeah.
hair are not.
Who dwell in fasting.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
The
also,
man no dey see shishi.
Hey, that's wickedness.
You understand?
Please.
no.
No,
they are
these
people
things,
That's wickedness.
These things can just happen.
That's wickedness.
These things can just happen, and you say, it's a one-off instance. When it becomes frequent, prayer warrior, prayer leader, praise
Forgive
singer,
me,
worship leader.
Forgive my
Yeah.
back.
Now,
You do
Just
it to the
about-
point where the man has talked and talked and talked and talked, and it comes to the consequence of I not do again.
Yeah. Or cheating.
If
So,
the man goes to cheat,
Yeah.
cheating is a consequence in this context now
yeah.
of
yes.
what that person is doing, and the woman say, okay, because you cheated, my Bible says divorce is permitted on the ground of
But
adultery.
as a
I not
Bible
do again.
believing man,
You understand?
should
Now, that's why I said we need to start addressing the actions and inactions
and consequences.
that leads us to the consequence that is divorce.
you know, is a to what you said now is unbiblical for a wife or a husband to deny his or her partner of sex.
Yes.
That's true.
Now, Paul said
Even
something.
when you're
He
fast.
said, "Do not withdraw yourself from each other. Do not withdraw yourself from each other to avoid temptation, except for a little time to pray. And he went on to say that that time of prayer must not be extended to the time or to the point that somebody will be subjected to sin. And so for that Gigi sister or Gigi brother that is saying, I am praying,
it's mostly Gigi sisters.
My Bible says,
And then be the
You
problem.
hardly see Gigi brothers.
do that too.
You hardly see Gigi brothers.
Men do that too. Don't say so.
It's not. Don't say
Men
that.
do it too.
There's no statistics because when we're talking about
I didn't give a percentage.
who are the evangelists? It's mostly
Yeah,
men. So
yes,
you
that's
can't
true.
say
And
that. It's
and
mostly
funny
women.
enough,
Let me tell
women
you, I've had
conform to whatever
let me
these
tell
men
you
are doing.
why-
They don't
how
complain.
serious it is.
They don't.
This
They
sex matter.
complain.
I've had a vicar. I've had a vicar somewhere that said that on a Saturday he was preparing for sermon on Sunday. That the wife has a signal that she gives whenever she's in the mood.
All those people they give signal, and be problem.
Are you
Talk.
getting me? That the wife has a signal, and one of the Saturdays he was busy in the spirit.
Hey, hallelujah.
Praying,
Glory.
preparing for someone. The wife opened the curtain like this and looked at him.
You know they see. You know they see.
He knew that there will be, see, there is nothing like reading this Bible here. Even him will not concentrate. He closed his Bible and went to
Do the
work.
That's the first thing he's going to preach that sermon. He's
Are you
preaching
getting
it there.
And this priest was talking about this on the context of not denying your partner.
Anybody that
And
don't
imagine the
deny
wife was
their
there.
sex lacks understanding. Especially for pastors, if you deny your partner sex, you lack understanding. Let me tell you, on a trivial state, no, nothing takes you close to heaven like sex.
Well, we don't
I don't know about that fact. I don't know about that fact. Mr. Jason, I don't know.
Yes, personal remark. Let me tell you. I sing in church. I'm a worshiper in church. Any Sunday, I clear well and come to church.
Wow.
You will feel it.
Yeah, you will.
Wow.
This person is-
So whenever
this person has settled his
those praise and worship that wonderful.
Let me tell you. I used to make joke with my wife. When she said, you are doing love in church, as in we'll be cutting eye.
I used to see
Yes, listen now. Now, she will tell me,
tensioning
"You
us.
see in church," and sometimes I will blow kiss to her.
Hey.
She will tell me in church. I will tell her I was giving certificates here in this church.
Yes.
So, is this legal?
I have the right to do anything.
Okay.
Yes, once I'm not doing the men cocoa, you know that one is supposed to be private. But you know,
Because of
rubbing
decency.
Because of decency. No, why I'm saying this is that most times we see sex as one bad thing. It's not true.
People say that sex is an act of worship. It's sex between married couples.
See,
Some
it's
people
an
say
act
it's
of
an act of
worship
worship
to your
to
partner.
God.
Wow.
To God.
It's an act of worship to your partner.
Okay.
So
That
when
is why people should worship
Let's
once you are
worship.
married.
Let's
Yes.
worship God.
once you are married,
Let's worship
you
God.
are free.
No, you're not married. You cannot worship God.
And when we marry, we are not
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. When I was preparing to get married, I saw a couple, they were doing all sorts. I said, see, I can't wait to get married. Why? Because I want to let out righteous moans. See, there are moans and there are righteous moans.
Okay.
You see that moan, Sunday morning own.
Wow.
See, there are things we relegate as Christians, as individuals, that lead us to the inevitable bad consequences. You have your role to play as a be a gym. Personally, as far back as university, I knew I can never marry any holy wedge.
Chai.
See, I like my wife to show me what I married.
You want
Dress
her to be
Dress
Sister Mary
properly.
with a
See,
touch of Kim
Be
Kardashian.
Kim Kardashian. Kim Kardashian.
With a
See,
touch of
we cannot even
Mary.
say for now, for sure, that Kim Kardashian is going to hellfire.
No, I'm just saying.
Be
I'm
the
talking
Kim
about the
Kardashian in the
persona
house.
of the
In the
person.
house now,
Nicki
not
Minaj.
outside.
Be the Kim Kardashian for me.
Outside.
Okay, that's the
But
side.
I
Yeah.
expect you to be married to me and you say makeup will lead you to hell.
I'm not talking about makeup. I'm talking
No,
about
I'm saying
dressing.
some
I'm trying
certain
to
things.
paint a scenario.
Okay.
You are married to me and you say makeup will lead you to hell. You say dressing flashy will lead you to hell. That you must wear maxi, you must wear boo-boo, you must dress, or perfume will lead you to hell. Ijiri body odo, boom. You understand? See, these things are the things that God has given man the wisdom to create,
Yes.
to enhance life. You understand? So I don't expect you to be all dry and tasteless or colorless, and you tell me that man will cheat. When he cheats, you come and quote Bible. See, there are things we do or we do not do that pushes people to
their
actions or
actions.
inactions that will eventually lead to divorce. These are the things that we should address.
Okay, in order to buttress his point, as man, all of us, we have needs in various forms.
Yeah.
What do I mean? The church should let the intending couples know that each of us, we have sexual needs. This is not about I'm a born again Christian.
there's no-
a
there's no-
biblical-
there's
we
no-
have financial needs.
Yeah.
We have social needs.
Yeah.
And as a person, all these needs need to be met with balance. There should be a balance. So, as Christians, we should know that sexual needs is one of those needs. It is one of those needs. It's not something you pray away or you pretend as if it does not exist. It exists because sex is part of man. It's part of life. So, if it is not being addressed, if it is not being talked about, I know that from a lot of as a lawyer and the people we've met in our course of work, sex is one major role about when it comes to problems in marriages. Do you understand? So we should know that your husband, that sexual need is there. Your wife, she has urges as a human being. So it's not something that we wish away or
to be ashamed of.
or to be ashamed of. Sex is not dirty. It is not dirty
It's not
because
dirty.
it is not.
When you're doing it
It's not
right.
one bite or
No, it's
one
not
bite.
dirty.
When you're doing it right.
Okay,
When
that
you're
right.
married.
Now, what do you mean by right?
Is there a wrong way
I
to
need
do
to
sex?
ask.
Sex in marriage.
Like when
Sex
you're
in
doing it
marriage.
marriage,
Sex in
when you're doing it
marriage.
right,
Sex
I'm talking
in
about
marriage.
doing it.
Sex in
Sex in
marriage.
Yes, in marriage. When you're doing
Okay,
outside
good.
marriage, it's not
As
right.
Christians.
Yes.
Now,
Oh, I don't
now,
No, I'm just trying
during
to.
I get
during my
you.
marriage seminar, our former vicar told us that former primate Akinola said, no matter how holy you are, you must know that in marriage there is food on the table and food on the bed.
You must eat to
And
grow.
the two foods,
You
the
understand?
two foods must be served whenever they are needed.
Bam.
So that is what I want to say about that. So it's not even contestable. Anybody saying anything on the contrary is just deceiving
You
him
eat
or
the
herself.
food, eat the
Then
chef.
conclusively on the divorce, I want to say that divorce, like I've said, divorce is not, it's not actually the will of God.
True.
It shouldn't be the first option.
It shouldn't be the first option. It's not necessary.
Yeah.
But circumstances might necessitate it.
Yes.
But then, for us not to end in divorce, we must make sure that from the start, we do
Eat right.
as much as possible to do our very best to get it right.
True.
You must make sure that you are compatible with whoever you are getting married to.
Do your due
You must be
diligence.
sure that there are no red flags. You must do your due diligence.
You must know your deal breaker.
You must know your
true.
deal
And
breaker.
avoid those deal
You
breakers.
must know your limit, the limit of what you can tolerate. These are the things you must do. And another challenge that we not mention is finance. Finance. It be one of the challenges, one of the reasons why people look out in marriage, both sides, is finance. See, you must be contented with who you are getting married to. You want this man propose to you. You know that this man's cumulative
Income bracket.
income in a month is 100,000.
You said yes.
You said yes. Now, when you get married,
It's
you are not
1 million.
comparing him with somebody that is
With the big
earning 5
banner.
million in a month.
Or you have a friend and the
Or
husband
you
got
have a
a
big
car.
banner.
You
wife
will not
as
you
well.
will come and be no, these are the things you know. These are the realities we must face.
Yes.
See, from day one, that is why for people that are getting married, we must be open to ourselves.
Exactly.
There's no
that's
need
where
to
truth to
pretend.
yourselves comes.
You know,
comes
it's
in.
very wrong for a man that wants to get married to go and possibly you are supposed to be living in a room self-contained, 100,000 in Kuchikuru, where they're paying maybe 100,000.
A
But
year.
because you want to
Show
you
levels,
you want
want
to
to
show
show
levels,
walking.
you now go to Guarempa to rent one room self-contained for 750,000, and you know you cannot even renew that rent because you want to show levels to a girl. You don't have car. Anytime you want to see this girl, you borrow your friend's car. It's not your car, and ordinarily on a lighter mood, ladies like front seats.
Well, die.
They like that seat. And you don't have car.
Selfie.
It's not your car. So it's good we show ourselves as we are.
Yeah.
So that if you want me, good. If you don't want me, you look for your level. Somebody said that ladies are so materialistic, my friend.
You that is poor, are you happy with yourself?
You cannot be talking about somebody. Somebody cannot be asking you, a man, you want to marry, you are dating or courting a lady that is demanding your 1 month salary for her hair.
And you want
And
that
you go ahead to marry the lady. You must be very stupid.
Exactly.
Because that marriage will not last.
Or even
Yes.
the lady dating the guy making such
Even
demands.
the lady dating the guy.
And somebody
making such
say,
demands, not trying
you
to
cannot
beg.
propose to me with
So-
a ring less than 1 million.
What I want-
How many
all these
ones are
things
marrying?
These things are
What is
see,
breaking my mind
marriage
is
is not a do or
now.
die affair.
Exactly.
Before you get married, you must get your ass together. This man earns 100,000, and I know I can manage 100,000.
Exactly.
This man earns 50,000. I know. See, there are human beings that see. Let me even tell you. I will tell you that even poor people marry happily
Of course.
than
There's more to life than
some
money says.
Middle class.
middle class people. You see, where the challenge is in our society is middle class.
Expectation.
Because those middle class, they've tested some life.
Yes.
Yes.
And they want to test more.
Yes,
they want
And
to
when
try
they-
something.
that's
I don't want to
their
go back.
desire.
Definitely.
When their
Yes.
desire is not met, there is bound to be
It's
problem.
so
So we must put all these things in proper perspective before we get into marriage. If indeed we want to avoid divorce.
Me, I feel
But when issues that we did not envisage, we did not see coming, like we said, abuse, addiction, infidelity, and stuff like that, we should explore all the options that could lead to restoration. But if it did not work, I will not encourage you to die in marriage.
Well, thank you
Right.
very much.
Okay, I
Oh,
want
you-
to say something. Let me just wrap it up. I will not. Just want to say
just
something
very quickly.
very quickly. Okay, on a final note, I would want to say that in as much as God hates divorce, God does not hate a divorcee. We should have it at the back of our mind.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because as Christians, once some people in the church because the church is our focal point.
Yeah.
Once they hear that this person is a divorcee, then the attitude
Change.
towards the person changes. Because we should have it at the back of our mind that divorce is not an easy thing. It affects you mentally.
very painful
it
process.
affects you in all process. And some people do not even remain the same after
But people
divorce.
celebrate divorce.
So when we see divorcees, the church, people in the church, when we see divorcees, our actions towards them, our attitude towards them should be that of love. That of empathy.
Yeah.
Because nobody goes into a marriage
With
for-
intention
to divorce.
That's true.
So at the back of our mind, we should always have it at the back of our mind that in as much as God hates divorce, God does not hate a divorcee. Thank you.
You heard it here, guys.
God does not hate a divorcee
At all. He loves them so much, just as he loves his
or his children.
yeah.
So thank you all so much for your lovely, lovely, lovely facts that you stated today. And thank you, my listeners, for being with us in this first episode of Undiluted.
Reflections.
Yes.
We look forward to the next
Of course,
episode.
we look forward to the next episode. And thank you so much, my guest.
Thank
you very
you.
So much. I remain your wonderful host, Ozi, and
Chineze, have a wonderful morning,
Yes,
afternoon,
and
evening.
see you next time. Bye.